Hi guys, so we are going to be doing an illustration project soon, and I wanted to go over one of my favorite books of all time from when I was a child. This book is called The Day Jake Vacuumed. You can see the front cover here, you can already see the type of style of illustration. It's quite jagged, you can see the way that they've done the hair, they've showed texture in Jake's hair. Um, Quite simple the way that they've done the drawings, not a lot of lines, just like showing exactly where things go, giving things a background, giving things a foreground, which means something in front, and then giving things character. So he's got a nice big smile that runs all the way across his face. Jake was difficult. Jake was a problem. He didn't like doing anything for anyone. So here you can see Jake sitting on his chair. They've given this picture character by adding things like him drinking the Coke and the little sandwich that's messing on the floor, and it just shows that he doesn't care about anything, with plates on the table, watching TV with his foot on the chair, and the cat is trying to get out and he can't because Jake doesn't care. So the author has very easily shown what's going on in the scene, even without the words. So we can consider these things when we're doing our illustration. And you can see here, the way that he's done the colors. They are very simple colors, lots of blues and grays, but then he's made this chair nice and green, and it's made the whole thing pop out. So consider those sorts of things when you're doing your drawings. You can also look at the way he's done the eyes. Like here, just by putting two little dots for the eyes and a side smirk, he's showing that he's kind of lazy and happy. Whereas on this side, when it's explaining things, he's given his eyes kind of a downward slant and a frown, showing that he's just kind of arrogant and doesn't care. So you can imagine how Jake felt the day his mother asked him to do the vacuum cleaning. For a while, Jake played with the machine, enjoying the loud noise it made. Frown, angry face, funny vacuum. This image I wanted to talk to you guys about because it's a way that illustrators show movement, and it's just by showing little lines like this. So you know that this vacuum is swinging around because of these lines that he's drawn. So when you guys do your illustrations, you will know to add lines like this if you need to show movement. You can see here also with the floor, just adding like a little bit of a zigzag on the floor in black makes it appear flat, or adding little spiky bits here makes it seem like it's a carpet and it has texture. So you can show a texture in illustration really simply. You don't have to this cat is furry. He doesn't have to have fur on him in this illustration. Otherwise it will be really busy. But you can show just a touch of carpet and you get a really good idea. Again, you can see the way he's done the color. He's put a dark color in the background so you're not distracted by the background. So if he had done the yellow in the background, we would lose focus of what the subject matter is, which is Jake and this cat and him swinging the vacuum around. Then he got a truly nasty idea. Very quietly, he crept over to Timmy. Timmy's the cat. Aiming the nozzle, Jake switched on the vacuum and sucked the poor cat up. And sucked up the poor cat. Here you can see poor old Timmy is getting sucked into the vacuum again with quite a dark background, but it's kind of, by showing this light behind him, it's kind of illuminating the scene, because you can see here he's even added a shadow, so that lets you know that there's a light shining on this page. So that's a pretty cool idea, and you can see the paint he's used looks to be watercolor. So he's gone in, he's probably drawn this in pencil first, then added the watercolor, and then come back in with dark black ink to highlight important parts of the picture. Jake was delighted. He knew he would be in trouble, though. If I'm going to be in trouble, he thought, I might as well be in big trouble. So off he sneaked to the kitchen. You see they show him being cheeky by putting his one finger up like he, and he's got little eyebrows looking mischievous, and by having his one ear kind of point down, it also makes him look a little bit more mischievous. Here they show on the next page him creeping into the laundry room, and they make us interested in what's going on in the laundry room by just adding some socks and some lines to show shadow, and the doorknob gives a little bit more detail, and the things on the shelf. And again, he's got a very simple background so that we can focus on him creeping through the doorway. So the last page we read was, Jake was delighted. He knew he would be in trouble though. If I'm going to be in trouble, he thought, I might as well be in big trouble. So off he sneaked to the kitchen and sucked his mother up into the vacuum cleaner, rubber gloves and all. Whoops, there goes his mom again, using these lines to show that she's going into the vacuum cleaner. They've shown the rubber gloves. She's obviously in shock because of the way he's done her hair, and the raised eyebrows is a really good way to show shock, as well as a big circular mouth. There's some plates breaking, the sink is overflowing with bubbles, and again, he's used that dark background to keep things simple so we can focus on the foreground. I'm free, shouted Jake. No one to tell me what to do. He had the whole house to himself, except, that is, for his icky little sister. There he is, looking devious again. Okay, again with the lighting. So you can see there's a light shining on him here. That's why there's a shadow behind him. They're showing the staircase, and this is actually done in perspective. I don't expect you guys to have to do too much in perspective unless you're my 8th grade comprehensive class. You should be able to kind of have this down, or at least contact me for help to work on perspective. Again, he's used these lines to show shadow, and that this is a space that is being stepped on. It shows that it's got gravity. Who was in her bedroom playing with her dolls. In crept Jake, and with a flip of the switch, up she went. The dolls went too. There you can say, whoops, up his sister went into the vacuum cleaner. He crept into her room. Again, he's using the blue background, and he's showing a little bit of detail with the dolls, and you know her dress is going up, so you know that the vacuum cleaner is sucking her into the vacuum. They've got some shadow here, shadows here as well, and yeah, that's a pretty good image. Jake wondered what his father would say when he came home. There was only one thing to do. So here you can see he's looking a bit guilty, and they've done this by pointing his eyes inward like that, and then just doing a little mark for the mouth. So you can remember these things when you're doing your illustrations. You don't have to worry so much about, oh my gosh, how am I going to get all this emotion and detail in? Sometimes with illustration, it's very simple. So here they show the front door, and he's waiting patiently for his dad to come home with his vacuum cleaner, again with this dark background and quite a light floor, and illuminating him with the light behind him. At 6 o'clock on the dot, his father opened the front door. Out jumped Jake, with the vacuum cleaner roaring on full power. It was a tight squeeze at first, but eventually Jake's father went in with a pop. Whoops! There's Jake's dad going right into the vacuum. He's quite a big man, so he's taking up a lot of the page. And that's something I want you guys to think about also when you guys are doing your illustrations. So I want you to think about filling up the whole page. Don't draw things very, very small. We want to see full images, lots of color, lots of detail. See here, he's put in that phone. That gives us an idea that it's right at the front door. And he's looking very happy with his big smirk. Hooray, shouted Jake. He was in charge at last. Jake was so pleased with himself that he decided to suck up the whole room. And there you can see this drawing almost has sound. You can almost imagine what it sounds like just by, you see this cactus and the way like all the spikes are kind of flowing, and it kind of gives us the idea that the vacuum is running and sucking up the spikes. And then you know that on the next page, there's the vacuum sucking up the entire room. And they've just put his tongue out showing complete glee that he's able to suck up this whole room. So it said, he decided to suck up the whole room and most of this book. That left Jake and the vacuum cleaner, and nothing but white space everywhere. So we can tell by this drawing that he is the camera. If someone were to have taken this picture of Jake and the vacuum, they took it from above, and we call that bird's eye view. So if a bird was flying over, this is the way he would see Jake. And they've achieved this by showing the top of the vacuum cleaner and having Jake's body really, really small, just showing the tips of his feet, and then having his face really, really big. And that's a really good way to show a different perspective than always just front view, like this is done in front view. And again with the lines and the white rim, and just very simply crossing his legs, not too much detail. So you can think about going simple when you do these. Explode! With a gigantic bang, out flew the family, every which way. Once Jake's parents recovered, they were furious. They sent him to his bed without any supper. So here's the big bang. Look at this, how nicely they've done this. They've shown the bang behind them, and it is kind of chaotic, but it's supposed to be. We're supposed to feel this explosion of people coming out of the vacuum cleaner, and the cats and the dolls and the sister and the mom and the dad, they're all flying out. And I mean, it's not perfect in perspective. I mean, his legs are a bit, they almost look like they're on the side of his body, but it doesn't matter because it's a children's drawing, and we're just trying to show what's happening in the from the writing. So there's Jake being sent to his room without any dinner. Again with the light showing, illuminating, and the shadow behind the dad, looking very angry. You see the way they've made these eyebrows slant in, that shows angry. You can also show it like this. As long as it's pointing downward, you're going to get an angry face when you draw. And look how nicely they've done the father's moustache without very much detail. They've showed what this is. This is definitely a moustache. It says, but Jake wasn't too upset. At least he knew he would never ever be asked to do the vacuum cleaning again. Look at him looking so smug. And there he is in his room with his, look how nicely they've done the bedroom cover with the lightning strikes. Simple little detail, but imagine it without it. Not as fun. So think about these things. I hope you enjoyed this book. Love from Jake. And this again is The Day Jake Vacuumed by Simon James.